You can't help someone who won't help themselves or that don't want to be helped. How often have you heard that? What if that's not entirely true? What if there were ways to help them, to make a difference, no matter how small, and help someone who's really important to us or that's about to give up? In this video, I am going to tell you all about the things you can do to help someone in trouble who seems less than appreciative of your efforts to help them out. I think you'll find that the last one is particularly helpful. Now, one of the main reasons why people who are struggling come off as not wanting to be helped is because they feel looked down on or judged, that they're misunderstood or feel pushed into doing something they're just not ready to do. At the same time, it's just so hard to see someone we love suffering. It's natural to want to fix things or just make it all okay. Other times, wanting to help them is a matter of self-preservation, because being around someone who's struggling can be so hard, so draining, that we just don't know how much longer we'll be able to take it. But more often than not, wanting to help someone who's struggling and having them fight us on it ends up in a fight for control. You want them to do as you say, and they want to hold on to the steering wheel and not feel like they're handing control of their lives over to you, because it kind of feels like you're saying they can't handle themselves. And to be honest, I have been on both sides of this war, and when it gets to this point, there's rarely a winner. I've struggled with my weight all my life, and at times things got pretty out of control, and sure enough, I'd always have someone trying to persuade me to go on a diet, for example. And each and every time they did that or commented on what I ate, it seriously only made me want to eat more. So yeah, I know all about looking like someone who isn't helping themselves and don't want to be helped either, even though I was dying to do something about it. So I guess the first thing you can do to help someone who's struggling is to stop judging. Don't assume they aren't doing nothing to help themselves or that they aren't trying. More often than not, they are. They're just so afraid to share it with you and get judged. Also, stop to take a look at your attachment to their choices. And what I mean by this is, consider if you're projecting some of your own issues onto this. One of the people who used to push me on the weight loss subject was my mom, and she also struggled with her weight. So it became much more personal for her than it should. So maybe there's something in this that you also need to address and learn from. Another thing to keep in mind is you help them just by being there and supporting them. Just listening to them without judgment is a big help on its own. Making them feel heard and understood, or simply asking them how they're doing, or other questions like, what do they want? Small things you can do that make a huge difference. But remember, you cannot help others if you don't help yourself. So make sure you're not hurting yourself by being there for them, okay? Find support for yourself if needed, someone to listen if necessary. And by supporting, I do not mean enabling, okay? Meaning you can be there for them, but not enable their behaviors. And this is very hard because people who struggle are often master manipulators, particularly when they need something from you. You can love and support someone even when they fall without making things worse by giving in to the pressure they put on you to help them do whatever they want. Now, I guess that one of the hardest things to do is to resist the urge to try and fix things for them or give advice. Because quite honestly, in these situations, the only good advice is when they ask you for it. If they don't, keep it to yourself. So just stick with support instead, okay? Try and keep the conversation going without it turning into a monologue on your end, and you will see how much more open they become and how they'll lower their defenses. But ultimately, it's their life and their decision. And that's why the only thing you can do really is to open the door for them, because you cannot make them cross it. They'll only do it when they're ready, and you can talk it over, explore their options together. But for me, the most important thing you can do to help someone in need is to be a good role model. You know how they say that children learn from example, not by words? I guess the same principle applies here. Let's say that you have a dear friend that's stuck in an abusive relationship. But whenever you're trying to persuade them to leave, they won't even hear about it, or they'll get defensive. You've tried everything but dragging them into therapy, and they don't seem to want your help. Well, instead of shoving it down their throats or keep pushing, why not support them first and foremost, let them know they can talk to you and you will listen without judgment, and then lead by example. By loving yourself, by respecting yourself, by setting high standards of respect for yourself. If your friend sees how you handle yourself, how you care for yourself, I guarantee you that it will start to rub off on them. I mean, how many times have you heard a friend tell a story about their life and think, I should definitely do that too? Yeah, that's the right way to handle things. I will do the same if it ever happens to me. Lead by example with love, compassion, and patience. Plant that seed and watch it grow. Also, watch this video about being stuck in a rut and how we are the only ones who can make the change we need happen in our lives.